Hi guys, Matthew Frailey, Breakpoint Trades. This is going to be a very quick video. It's pre-4th of July, so happy 4th everyone, which is tomorrow. So one of the things we talk about a lot of times at Breakpoint Trades, and again, I'm going to show you some examples. So talk about this moving average ribbon, okay? Very useful, very, very useful. So the moving average ribbon I'm using here, these four moving averages, they are the 9, 20, 34, and 50. All right. Again, I just find those pretty useful. You know, if you want to stay with fibs, you could probably use an 8, 21. This is already a 34. Maybe go to 55 here, but whatever. So this is what we've been using. I always talk about the moving average ribbon, especially if you compare it with a fast, like a zero lag moving average, such as a Jurek or a whole moving average. That's not what this is, the BPTMA Deluxe. It's like that. It's a zero lag moving average. But, you know, since you don't have access to that, again, you could substitute, you know, like I said, a whole moving average, a Jurek, something like that, and have it colored with the slope. So when it's up sloping, it's green, down sloping, it's red. All right. Here I'm using a 21 length, and the 8 type is the moving average I'm using. So this is some sort of whole modified. It's an exponential moving average of a whole moving average. All right. So it's further sped up with that exponential component. Anyway, I talk about when the moving average ribbons, obviously, again, they're a very useful guide. When they're pinched like this, energy is built. That's when you get your big moves. But one thing, a very easy trade I've found is whenever, let's say for a long, you know, it's moving averages are bearishly stacked, and you get that first expansion move, like right here. This is the daily S&P, so this is May. Remember, I had a little sideways pullback correction in April into early May. And then from early May, then we got that first initial rally to a new all-time high. The moving average ribbon expanded. You had your first expansion. It's this first contraction. We call it the first pinch squeeze. That's almost always a great buy opportunity. Now, this happened to occur right near this ATR. That's the average true range. So a lot of things matched up there. But these are very good buy signals. Okay. And, you know, you could have used various triggers. And I'm going to show you some triggers. Here's an example of one where on a bearish side. So moving average ribbon flipped bearishly stacked here back in September. And then you had your first pinch squeeze on the underside up right against the ATR. That was a great short. Okay. So let me show you some examples that I use for trading. Again, the neat thing about this method is it's fractal. So I'm going to show you some short time frames. Remember, this works on daily charts, weekly charts, 60-minute, 2-hour, all the way down to 1 minute, whatever. So here's a setup I look for. So on a bigger time frame, and this example is of the NASDAQ 100 mini NQ futures. Okay. And so what I look for is that first, where the moving average, if I'm looking for a long, where the moving average ribbon was bearishly stacked, you can see it back here. You then have your first big rally, so your moving average ribbon expands, and in that first contraction pullback, you can see it right here on the 15-minute chart. Okay, you can see it rallied off the cycle indicator. And I should mention that. The cycle indicator, this is cycle support, that's cycle resistance. It's very useful. Here's your moving average ribbon, and this is a MACD. You're not going to worry about that. So this is price. So after your first move up in price, you had the Mark 13, 913 combo, and you had a little pullback. Okay, but you had your first moving average ribbon squeeze here. So you're looking for a buy signal. Now, could you have bought this first candle up? Yeah. But what I like to look for is on a smaller time frame. Again, here's a 15-minute. I'm looking for one of these cycle supports. So you can see here on the 3-minute, notice how right here on this pullback, right, where the moving average ribbon had its first squeeze, notice you had a cycle support. And you also had a Mark 9. So to me, once I see that, I'll take a buy. I'll buy that, and I'll put a stop a little bit below the cycle. You know, if there's a candle spike there, I'll put it a little below that. And very easy trade. On the 5-minute, you also had a cycle support. Now it came in a couple candles later. You could have also bought that as well or used that as a further confirmation. But that's a great example of this method. Here's the actual live chart on this. Again, this was a trade I did last night. You can see right here on the 15-minute back here, your moving average ribbon, and you can see how right there on the 3-minute you had that perfect buy signal. Here's an example on this is mini gold futures. You can see yesterday at 1:30, again you had your moving average ribbon expanded, then you had your first pinch squeeze there. You could also see it here on the 3-minute. But notice right here on the 1-minute, right here on this squeeze, notice you had the buy cycle. So you go long here, put a stop right below there, and it was a nice trade. Here's just a couple other examples. Again, here's the daily S&P. I just showed you, 5 and 15-minute charts, but like I said, this is Fractal. So here's the daily S&P. Again, you can see the moving average ribbon expansion here, the first pullback squeeze. And notice on the half-day chart, you had a buy cycle. So that was your trigger. Let's look at some other examples. So here's that back in October last year. Remember, you had your moving average ribbon went bearishly stacked. Then you had your first pinch squeeze there into the ribbon. Well, notice on the half-day chart, this over, notice you had a perfect resistance cycle right there. So matched for a perfect short, which ended up working out well. So again, very useful method because you're using multiple time frames and triggers. Just wanted to show you that, guys, that method. Again, hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Take care.